our votes. I don't know if that's because people think that because we have felonies that we can't vote, but you can vote in the state of Georgia with a felony, as long as you're not on probation. A new law was passed 2 years ago that allows people to get their probation terminated early. 80,000 people got their probation terminated early and can now vote. You know what 80,000 votes can do? They can completely swing an election. So that is what we're here to do. We're traveling statewide. We're getting all 80,000 of them votes to get out. To let folks know whichever way you decide to vote, your vote matters too. Because when people are included in the community civically and able to participate economically and socially, communities are healthier and they're safer. All right, Ms. Bree.
Okay, greetings everyone. My name is Bridget Simpson. I go by Bree, and I am the CEO and Executive Director of a small but mighty organization with 2 offices, one in Atlanta, Georgia, the other in the CSRA region in Richmond County. Augusta, most folks will know it as Augusta. And one of the things that we do, our organization also, very similarly to Waleisah's organization, we serve a population of folks who have been impacted by the criminal legal system. We call our folks justice impacted. We believe that that impacts the whole entire family. When, we serve time, we don't leave our families behind, they serve time right along with us. And what we do is we work on we work to make sure that our folks are civically engaged. There were 80,000 new people that were eligible to vote because of the early termination of probation because of the law that was passed by community organizations. But there are over 400,000 people, Georgians, who are actually eligible to vote that they have had their sentences complete. They simply finish probation or parole, and they are automatically eligible. So that takes it from 80,000 that know to 400,000 that don't know. So my organization makes sure that we're speaking to elected officials, public officials, because you all don't come to us. You don't come to us, you never take the time to ask us for our votes. You just assume that we're going to give them to you because, I'm assuming the assumption is because you guys don't come. So we have been very intentional in the gubernatorial election as well as in local elections to make sure that folks earn our votes as well, because 400,000 potential votes, at least 180,000 people who are registered, and we're still getting to the rest. That is paramount. And that can change and swing any election. So it's time for justice impacted votes to be valued. So this is why we're here today, to specifically speak on social justice issues, because our people are coming home and they're going somewhere. They're going back to the communities where they're from. So we want to make sure that they are also represented. I know it's not a sexy subject, so most of us don't want to talk about it, but people are coming home. So you have to get comfortable with the uncomfortable and earn our votes as well.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Waleisah, I'm a board member of the NewLife-Second chapter. And we have the president of Columbus, Columbus chapter, to say a welcome from
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Good to see your beautiful faces out for such an important event as this. My name is Dr. Doris Schwarber. I am the chapter president of the Columbus Metropolitan Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated. We are a public service sorority and organization. We operate on 5 programmatic thrusts: economic development, educational development, social action, political or international awareness and involvement in physical and mental health. And so with that thrust of social action, we want to ensure that our voters are informed in our communities, that they have voting plans, that they understand who their candidates are and how their candidates can represent them in the issues. We are a nonpartisan organization. We want to ensure that we address things like voter apathy, making sure that voters who have any barriers to them getting out to vote, those barriers are addressed. And we also want to ensure that we're giving people information where they can go that is trusted, reliable, credible information, and we partner with organizations such as those that have been before you to make sure that we're doing our part to ensure that our community members are informed constituents. So as we are here to join with you all today, please make sure that you do me a favor and share this information with someone. People couldn't be here, you're their representative. So you are responsible for taking the information back you learned today to them, post it on your social media sites, give them websites where they can go, give them information about how to make sure that they are still registered to vote and that their registration has not been altered, and to ensure where they need to go. And you'll be able to get that information from our social media pages in the event that you need it. Thank you for your time.
All right, before we get into it, we just want to let you all know that we will be hosting an event tomorrow, which is on Zoom at 6 p.m. All candidates have been invited. And this was because a lot of people may have not been able to come to our candidate forums. We've had about 4 forums. All forums have been focused on social justice and criminal justice, which is issues a lot of candidates tend to forget about. If you weren't able to attend those, we're giving the candidates one last opportunity to join us on Zoom for about 30 minutes to give a 3-minute pitch. Several candidates have already registered. If you're a candidate in this room, even if you are not in Columbus and you're one of the state candidates, scan the QR code or go to our website to sign up to do your 3-minute pitch for your vote. Like Bree said, you want to earn the vote. And you'll have 3 minutes to talk about what your platform is about. But one of the priorities that we're asking you is that one of your priorities needs to be a criminal justice or a social justice priority. So please welcome, register to attend that. And on the 2nd, in the same space, I know it's spring break, but because the spring break campaigns ain't stopping, and we have asked the school board candidates to come out. We have been emailing candidates. If they're not in this room or have not been in any of our candidate forums, we have been emailing candidates since January 5th. And most of the candidates are incumbents. Yeah. Meaning they're not responding to the emails that they're currently sitting in and getting paid for. So if they're not here, it's because they are not responding to the emails that they should be responding to, and already elected officials sitting in them spaces. So that should be something that should be a serious concern to you all. And so on Thursday, we'll be talking to school board candidates, and again, it will be focused on social justice. It will be regular issues, but there are going to be some questions in there about the school-to-prison pipeline, school tolerance policies that target black kids, school tolerance policies that don't know the difference between a child who's autistic but label them as a behavioral child. We're putting children into the system early, that kind of stuff. So we're going to be talking about those issues. You have teachers in schools right now who do not know the difference than a child who's been homeless or hasn't eaten all night. And because they're sleeping, they can send them to the principal's office to get suspended, as opposed to knowing that maybe mom and daddy are both in addiction, or maybe they're homeless and sleeping in a car. So these are going to be some of the issues that we're talking about, that need to be talked about, that I've never heard at candidate forums. So please join us there.
Where is that going to be located?
That's going to be in the same space this Thursday, the 2nd at 5:30. Also, for those of you who are voting, you may not know, but there is a new postmark rule. This is going to take, it took effect last year in December, so if you're trying to get paid the bills, pay the taxes, child support payments, and it's also going to impact ballots, they changed the postmark rule in December. So when you would go and put your mail in, post in the mail in the blue box on Monday, it was postmarked for Monday, it may not be postmarked now for 3 or 4 days. So if you're trying to send your voter ballot, please put it in the mail the week before. Put your rent in the mail the week before, because it will be considered late. So this basically just telling you that the old way, it was postmarked that same date. Now it's no longer going to be that way. If you're trying to meet something that will charge you based on your postmark, you need to get in your car, go to the nearest post office, go inside, and request that they give you a hand stamp for your postmark date. So the deadline to register to vote is April 20th. Early voting starts April 27th through May 15th, and election day is May 19th. And to be honest with you all, with so much stuff going on with locations closing and people trying to play these little funny games and politics, please, if you can, go vote during early voting where you have less chances. And these are just some more of the dates, and they should be in your seat as well. And if you need to, go online to your My Voter page to check your status. Also, you can register to vote if you have a felony, as long as you're not on probation. And that even if you still owe fines, fees, or restitution. and do not vote, do not register to vote if you're currently on probation, because that is another 10 years in prison. Or parole. Okay? And if you did sign up, we will send you a copy of this presentation as well, okay? And this is just a quick through. Your Columbus Mayor's Office, and again, you all will receive this if you signed in and put your email down. Here are your city council members, and in that link, all the links are clickable for you to know how to reach them, their emails, and everything. And we sure all these people on this panel today gonna be answering y'all emails, right? They're elected, right? Okay? And these are the school board members. And so right now, we're gonna go ahead and get started. This is what we got going on today. Mayoral candidates in City Council Districts 7 and 9. Are there any extra seats? We're gonna put some seats out for y'all. We're gonna get some volunteers to put some seats out for y'all. Extra seats in the back.
Fine, sweetie, how are you?
Can we get a couple guys to help get some seats out? Thank you so much, Corey from Bar Business. Always willing to help. We appreciate that. So we're going to go ahead and ask a few chairs, and we're going to go ahead and get started with these rounds of questions. Each candidate will have 2 minutes to respond to your question. In the back, where's Dominique? Dominique is in the back. She's going to be an eye shot of you all to help you with your 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 second, and 15 second warnings, and your stop. So you can, we can get all these questions done. We should be done in about 40 minutes with the candidates, and we're going to go into Q&A. Everybody should have a slip of paper in your seat where you can write, because if you've got a bad mind like me, you'll forget your questions. That's the opportunity for you to write your questions. Also, which I've never seen, is a candidate questionnaire focusing on criminal justice issues. We are building a candidate questionnaire for every candidate in Columbus, Georgia, including the judge. So there's a QR code that says something about a question on there. If you would like a question considered in the candidate questionnaire, so we can get it to them by Monday, please scan that, submit your question, so that we can put it on our website so that everybody knows how people responded to the questions that we had. Okay? All right.
Hey everyone. Again, my name is Bridget Simpson, and I just go by Bree. And we are going to get right into it. Each of the candidates will have 1 minute to pitch, and the question is, why you? And Dominique, the lovely lady in the back, you can look to her for your prompts on the time, and the blue sweater in the back. And this will be for both the mayoral candidate as well as City Council District 7 and 9. So, yeah, let's start on my left with the mayoral candidate. And 1 minute, why you? Mr. Isaiah.
1 minute?
1 minute.
Is it on? No, I can turn it on.
I can share my mic. Would you like mine?
Okay.
So, I'm Isaiah Hughley, and I'm running to be the 71st mayor of Columbus, Georgia. Why me? Because experience matters. I'm ready to go to work for you day one. And so I'm going to just say this, because I have 1 minute. Educated, proven leadership, vision, experience, evidence, receipts on hand, exceptional history, progress, relationship builder, One Columbus efforts, ready to go to work day one. And so I ask you, I can check the boxes. Can your other candidates check the boxes?
All right. Thank you. Thank you. 1 minute. Why you?
Why me? That's simple. Because Columbus needs change. We've been doing the same thing for far too long. We've had the same people in position. They've been moved around the board like chess pieces. They're not even playing chess, they're playing checkers. Our city has been left behind for far too long. We have an entire side of our city that has been forgotten about. Everybody knows my campaign. Anybody that's seen my campaign knows exactly why I'm running. I am running for the people who feel that their voice is not heard. I am running for the people that feel like they cannot get actions taken on their behalf. I cannot tell you how many phone calls I feel today trying to help people and members of our community. Can our elected officials and other candidates say that?
Okay, thank you. Madam, why you?
Hello, I'm Dr. Jessica Bryant, and so I'll start off with that I'm a person who has also seen the concerned citizens. The concerned citizens where we too are sharing the meetings in between the meetings after meetings, the meetings that didn't happen, all without us. And that's not okay. And so I'm a person that stepped up. I'm a person that said yes when others shame people to not run. I'm a person that says, okay, we can do it, because we do need to put action into place. And so I have a PhD in leadership, and I've worked with CEOs and senior executive leaders all across the United States, training organizations to actually have more collaborative leadership. And that is exactly what I'll be bringing to Columbus.
Thank you. To the lovely lady on my right, why you?
Hi, good afternoon. My name is Lakeitha Ash. I'm here candidate for City Council District 7. Question is, why me? First of all, I'm a firm believer it is, if you see a problem and you have the ability the ability for a solution, you have the responsibility to step up. So my candidacy did not start on March 2nd when I did like that. I work in District 7. I have built relationships over and over again in District 7. So it's not just I'm running for a position or a title. District 7 deserves a leader who's committed, who's accountable, who's accessible. And I feel like I am that leader for that.
Thank you very much. It's not easy to be up here. Hey, I'm Dr. Zajac. I'm also running for District 7 City Councilor. All of us have experienced the chaos of City Council and city leadership in the last few years. I think this is the most important local election that we've had probably in the last decade, and I think we need 5 city councilors that can work with the mayor, can work with city staff, and can work with city leadership. I think we also need councilors that have actual real experience working with the city. Lastly, I think we need a city councilor that can or has a history of stakeholder engagement. The last 10 years I've lived in Columbus, I've lived in District 7, I've worked in District 7, I've worked for Uptown Columbus Inc. Most of you guys know that. I helped get small businesses down there, I helped activate it with events, and helped the Whitewater revitalization. I transitioned to Dragonfly Trails, where we build trails and put public art to activate the trails solely through stakeholder engagement. I know how the city works, I know how the departments work, and I think you need that experience to be ready to work on day one to move Columbus forward. Back to Zajac, District 7.
Good evening, my name is Shiara Richardson. I am a daughter of Columbus. I was born and raised here. This is my home. I have spent years growing up in this community, which has taught me that when you see something that you want to change, it is imperative that you step up to do the work necessary to bring about that change. For me, I believe that District 7 deserves leadership that is accessible, that listens, that is thoughtful, that is working in partnership with the community. I am a people-centered leader, and for me, the people are the most important ingredient in all of this. And so I look forward to being able to show up and serve in that capacity. Professionally, I have worked all throughout Georgia in education, in communications, connecting people and their organizations with their community. And so I feel like that's important work that also connects back to this seat here. And I look forward to earning your vote. And again, that's Shiara Richardson, District 7.
First of all, good evening, everyone. I want to use some some of my own personal time to thank each and every one of you for coming tonight and engaging in this much needed critical conversation. My name is Rocky Martin. I am a candidate for City Council District 9, which is at large, that services and take care of all residents here in Columbus and Muskogee County, 200,000 plus. Why me? When you get a Rocky on council, you get a team player, someone who is invested and committed to the total team focus on you and your families in the future of Columbus. And I look forward to the conversation tonight. Rocky Marsh, District 9 at large.
Good evening, family. I'm Dr. Kathy Cook, District 9 at-large candidate, and I am rooted in Columbus, and Columbus is in my blood. I grew up right down the street here, Boxwood, and this used to be Columbus Square Mall. And while our city has made a lot of progress, we still have a lot of work to do. And I believe that what we need is servant leaders. And I have been serving people for at least 28 years during my practice of dentistry. I gave 10 years of my life to the military. I'm a veteran, I'm a mother, I'm a grandmother. And what I believe the city needs is someone who's going to put people over politics, to really listen to what needs to happen, and to render solutions that are people-focused. We need safer neighborhoods, we need better paying jobs, we need affordable housing so we can really push economic development. We have a lot of things that we need to do together as a community, and I'd like to help bring people together to render those solutions. I need your support and I need your vote. Kathy Cook, District 9. Thank you.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Dr. John D. Van Dorn, and why me? There are two simple reasons. Number one, the number one problem in Columbus is the lack of trust. Trust is badly frayed within our communities. We are building more silos between the community and city council on things like data centers and criminal and social justice, and between the council and our public servants. I have a plan to bridge those divides. It's a concrete plan that I will start to enact on day one. Number two, I have a unique combination of both practical and academic knowledge. I have a PhD in political science and policy. I have studied politics around the world. I'm keen to bring those best practices back to Columbus. I also have diplomatic skills. I serve with the UN ambassador. I could go on, but I have the skill set. I have 20 years of practical political experience that I have been here in Columbus as a native of Columbus. I know this place north, south, east, and west, and I am eager and ready to go to work for you, for criminal, for social justice, and for shared abundance. John Van Dorn, at-large, District 9.
Good evening, and thank you also for being here. My name is John Aker, and I'm City Councilor for District 9. I'd like to continue serving you. I've been an intermediate counselor for the last several months. We've started change, we've got to keep change. The reason I think it's made why us together is because I came to this town 33 years ago when my wife, my kids were born here, and I was a business employee. I started with our own company together. Today we have 4 plants, 3 of them on Casita Road, 1 on 13th Street, 200 employees. We talk about social justice all the time. And I hope I get opportunities to share personal stories. And the reason that experience matters is, in my experience, isn't in the books. It's on the plant floor, boots on the floor. And so I have experience with my pains as a business owner, trying to get business done. I'm trying to help make changes for most people, and it's inflicting positive change. It's not a fun word. Change is hard. Please, I ask for your vote. Thank you.
You do have to do a record, ain't you?
I have a lot of people.
I know you do. I know you do.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-oh.
So for our
That
next
part.
question, we will be talking about data centers and rezoning. And this question is for everyone, and you will have 2 minutes to answer. So I'm going to give you some background on it. Hopefully I'm clear. If you do not understand me, you can ask me to repeat the question. Unlike Harris County, who on March 2nd denied a rezoning request of developers for 586 acres on McKee Road, Columbus leaders have quickly agreed to welcome a data center. Since the news broke weeks ago about Project Ruby, a $5.18 billion data center in the Muskogee County that is estimated to use more power than all the cities you usage when it's completed. Despite the overwhelming opposition of Project Ruby by citizens and various energy advocates agencies, it seems that the citizens' voices have gone ignored to prioritize profit. My question is, do you support or oppose the building of that data center? Why and why not? And each of you have 2 minutes to answer it, and I will start on this side of the table.
First off, it is $5.8 million, and if you take money out of the equation, nobody wants it, and that's probably a fact. I think if you take the money out of the deal, nobody wants it, and that would include me. So you have to weigh the money, you have to weigh the goods and the bads. I'm listening, I've got a list, I just pulled it up. And it's not, do we vote for a data center tomorrow or the next month? It's a process, and it's probably a 9-step process. And currently, we're just looking at the overlays. How do we legislate to protect our citizens the most while reaping some of the benefit? And that's what we have to look at. First off, we talked to the CEO, excuse me? All right, first off, we have, I've talked to a CEO of Flint Energies about the energy, and there will be no capital costs passed on or further increases. In fact, it's one of the things that's helping us hold our rates where they are for the next 3 years. You've been guaranteed by Georgia Power no rate increases 3 years. Secondly, that we don't have a water problem. So the next biggest issue that we have to legislate against, number one, is environmental, because that's what means the most for the most citizens. Secondly, I believe we have to legislate to protect those neighbors that are out there who do live in a beautiful part of the land. So we have to balance the good with the bad. I'm not for or against it at this point, but I am saying we're not taking the money out of it. We have to say we have a money problem in this town. We've grown our revenues by $200 million annually. Every single year we get $200 more million than we got in 2018. And we blown through that money. We had a budget this past year that was $30 million more than we had. We went into savings to get it. If you want to keep some of the entitlements that you have today, we better figure out a money plan, because that's our biggest problem. Thank you.
Okay, if you have been following me on Instagram and Facebook, you know that I'm the only candidate that has specifically called for a moratorium through 2026 on the data center. And that's for 2 very important reasons. Number one, we don't have all the facts. In fact, I've gone to the city's forum, and it's been an exercise in futility and frustration. Everybody said, ask the person over there. They don't know who the end user is. They don't know how many jobs it's going to provide. They don't really know what kind of power draw it's going to have. Between 500 and 900 megawatts, or about 3 times the entire city of Columbus. So let me put it very simply. Whenever you're looking at a major decision, you look at costs versus benefits, right? Costs versus benefits. The costs are quite high. They're environmental. I look at the technology overlay. There are very inadequate protections against disasters, runoffs, the monopoles. I could go on and on about the lack of specificity in the technology overlay as it exists. The cost, of course, to nearby homeowners, the sound pollution, etc. The water, we have a strain on our water system at present. We don't know if we can provide the adequate infrastructure, and then who maintains that infrastructure after it's built. What are the supposed benefits? This is the kind of the bottom line here. There are 2 benefits supposedly to the citizens of Columbus. Number 1, jobs, and number 2, taxes. The jobs, right? Every other place that data center has been built, the actual number of local jobs after construction is less than 1 dozen. $5.2 million for less than 1 dozen, you probably have janitorial in those kind of jobs. So jobs is off the table. That's not economic development for those jobs. Number 2, the tax revenue. Every other place that's been built, it's been less than half the tax revenue. With the property tax abatement in the state of Georgia, we can expect maybe $25 million for a couple of years, and then with the write-down to the depreciation, virtually no taxes. So when you look at the costs versus benefits, that's why we need a moratorium right now. Thank you.
All right.
Hello again, family. I got more questions than I have answers. And I think we all need to be asking a lot of questions. Get your questions answered. The reality is this. There's still a lot of information that we need to gather before we can make an informed decision. anytime that I'm researching or anytime that I want to make a decision, I want to learn everything that I can about it first. If you're a patient of mine and you come to me for the first time, I'm going to do a comprehensive exam. I'm going to take an x-ray of every single one of your teeth. I'm going to put a plan together and then prioritize it. But with this, I don't have enough information. Not enough information to form a decision for or against. So right now, I'm neutral because I need more information, and I think the citizens of Columbus do too. It's a big decision, and we all need to be leaning forward, listening and looking and diligently seeking the answers to our questions. So I'm not going to pretend like I have the answers because I don't. But I am in the same rooms with you with the same general concerns, and I hope that our city, our leaders make the best decision for us once we get the answers to all of our questions. I don't need the next minute. That's my answer.
First thing I want to start off is I love how my fellow candidates are being candid about certain facts. And I want to start off with that as well. And I want to appreciate the facilitator who kind of led into this question. The first thing is I want to be facts over fiction. Facts over feelings. Because regardless if you like it or not, let's discuss and talk about the facts. And the facts is this is not a city Columbus led effort. It's a private entrepreneurship endeavor. And I think that's very important to identify when we address our concerns and our frustrations. But to that point, I want to say this. I have made it my point to attend as many information sessions as I could and also ask the hard questions like many of my fellow candidates. And there is just too much that is yet unknown. Too much that is unknown. So, for me personally, am I for or against? It is too early to make a decision, and until the study is complete, when we as a consolidated community is aware of all the facts, at that time I'd be glad to come back and render a decision. But I look forward to continuing learning and continuing sharing and continuing to also educate my fellow residents here in Columbus, Georgia for a group decision. Thank you.
Well, I have been to a majority of the data center forums. I've asked very pointed questions to get minimum answer, right? So I'm a person, as I said to Development Authority, is I think part of the disconnect for people is you're giving me a slice of pie, and you're not letting me see what the whole pie look like, so I can decide whether or not I want to eat the pie. I also think about what my grandma used to say when she said, all money ain't good money. So if our foundation of doing this is the taxes and the revenue, what about, again, the people? And what are the people saying? The people that actually live near there. But also, I think there's a conversation that we're also not having, is that from my understanding, and if I'm wrong, please correct me, but the state of Georgia already has over 100 data centers, with more data centers being built as we speak. So we're not talking about the larger implications for our power and for our water, because we're not the only people that use the Chattahoochee. So I think that's a serious lens that we're neglecting to look at and to understand, because yes, we're talking about one, pulling power, one, pulling water. But what does that look like when it's all happening in sync? And so if I had to give an answer on today with the information that I have, the information that I looked into myself, and from the information that has been provided via the forms, the many forms, then my answer would be I could not support it in good faith. That's right.
Thank you.
So one of my personal greatest skills is I think I have empathy and I can see both sides of a situation. I, like so many of the candidates here, have gone to so many of the forums pro and frankly against the data center. And so as an economic developer, I understand the economic development. I understand the city's budget. I understand the impact, and it is massive that this data center could have. We have been the lowest performing county in the state for 10 years from economic development standpoint. So there is some real economic development value that we cannot discount. However, we have heard from all the economic development experts. We've heard from Choose Columbus, we've heard from Georgia Power, we've heard from Flint Energies, we've heard from Columbus Waterworks and Habitat Partners. What I would still like to hear from, and several of the candidates have said this, is we have not heard from a team of environmental experts that understand the specifics of this project in Muskogee County with the resources that we have. And that's what I would like to see. One thing also, thank you, but one thing I've also valued is trying to negotiate deals, right? So if we're thinking about this data center, what some other communities have done that I think is interesting and we should explore, it's called a community benefit agreement. It is part of the contract that you would sign with the data center that says these are the specific deliverables that this business would provide. So it could be like, when we're talking about the residents, a resident brought up that their sewer system, they're on a septic system, they would need to connect to the sewer system. Could that data center pay for it? Could they do the roads? What are they going to do with the 15% of the trees that they're cutting down? We need to understand those environmental impacts, but I think there are ways to negotiate to make sure that we get, frankly, the environmental folks, and I'm an environmentalist too. I run a nonprofit that believes in environmental justice, and so I want to make sure that we get those questions answered to see if we can negotiate something that would bring this great economic development opportunity to our community.
Like most of my fellow candidates here stated, that it's not something that you can just go out and say, hey, I'm for this or I'm against this. I would not be able to make that decision on today whether I'm for it or against it. It's a big talk about the data centers, and this just came from nowhere. It just came out just lately. But nobody mentioned that we do have data centers right here in Columbus, in District 7, that, no one's talked about. If anybody can correct me if I'm wrong, but we do have data centers right here in, or had data centers right here in
They don't have hyperscale.
Not, but I'm just saying, we do have a lower scale data center right here in.
If we can keep the questions to the end for Q&A, just so we can move through for the sake of time, that would be really appreciated.
But I really feel like we do need more education on this, and whatever decision that is made, it would have to be made to reflect the voices of our community, of our people. It's nothing that we can just sit here. I don't want to have that decision just to be able to stand up and say, I'm for this, because it's going to make the city money. Or I'm against this, because of, our power bills will increase, or the water bill, or whatever. I think we need to have all voices included in this decision.
Thank you. I will re-ask the question again from the mayoral side. Do you support or oppose the building of a data center? Why or why not? And you have 2 minutes.
I can firmly say no. I do not support the data center. And so I'm like John. I'm the only candidate who stood up, who actually said something and went forward. Asked for open records. I too asked for environmental analysis, utility analysis, and several hosts of everything that was the meetings and the global contracts that were previously done 3 to 4 years ago, and still have not received anything. Besides that, our city, besides the infrastructure, our average household is only about $59,000. We have a lot of people on fixed income. So we're talking about power bill increases. We're talking about water bill increases. They don't have income increases. So the math does not match. When I say I truly stand for the people, I truly stand for the people. And that means that we're not lining pockets. We're not doing any more backdoor deals. This is not okay. It literally is, you have the structure of our family units who are living in poverty. You have homelessness unaddressed for years. You have mental health unaddressed for years. You have only a one-sided project. A data center? No. It needs to be on a back list.
Yes, I absolutely would support a data center. if we get all 31 flavors like Baskin Robbins, then all the stuff they're saying we're going to get, and it's all true. All right? It's not. Because we do not have enough data on these data centers. So this specific style that they want to make, it's relatively new. It's not like the one they have out in Memphis where it's burning all the fuel and everything else. So we're comparing this data center to other data centers that we currently have out there. This one is different. They are using different technology. They're doing a whole lot of insulation and everything else. Water, they're saying we got 30 million gallons a day that we could use. It's only going to use 286 at most at peak. Electricity, they're saying, you know, as John was discussing, that we're not supposed to have a rate increase and all this other stuff. Truth is, we don't know. We don't know what's going to happen. We don't know what the environmental impacts are going to be and everything else. But what we do know is that they're saying it's going to generate $69 million a year. Hey, that's a cool story because I asked some hard questions too at the very first meeting, and no, I have not been back to any meetings. Yes, I have watched them on TV. The first one was enough for me. I asked, is it a done deal? I asked, is it a done deal? Mr. Broadwater, you were there. What'd you get out of that answer? Be honest.
I don't want to say it.
Yeah. It's a done deal. But now they got to jump all these other hoops that and stuff, right? So now it's what can we get out of it? Now we got to figure out what can we get out of it. All right, so they bought this land from the Amos Family Foundation, right? And I've been saying for quite some time that we're going to start losing jobs because of chatbots, AI, and everything else. Well, here we are. I'm down to 15 seconds. If anybody has any questions about how I really feel after this, let me know.
I'll call you first.
I simply do not have all the facts, and so I don't know enough to be for or against. The only thing that I do know, if I was still city manager, it would be my fault.
Hello.
That's
the truth.
You know, I need more information. I would ensure that 100 plus community benefit exists. Otherwise, my response would be no. I would ensure that zero environmental justice concerns exist. If there are environmental justice concerns, my response would be no. No power issues, no water issues, zero concern, 100+% community benefit, all added value.
It can be done.
And if there are issues or concerns there, and the data center has the financial capacity to handle those concerns, then of course that would be all even. But at the end of the day, it has to be 100+% community benefit, all added value for the citizens, and no environmental justice concerns. Otherwise, the response is no. And so I do know how to put measures in place to make sure that all of the boxes are checked. That assures me that I'm being deliberate of what my concerns would be before I move forward and say yes. And were I city manager, I would make sure that before that project came forward to the council, that I would have done all of those things to make sure zero environmental concerns.
The next topic, but Bree's gonna say something right quick. In your package, if you have it, we took a lot of time to give you some resources on data centers. The majority is why you shouldn't, what's bad about them. But on the back, there are some resources, and there is one that says that you support data centers. But there is in a packet, 8-sheet packet that's stapled together in your package that you can read and talk a little bit more about data centers.
Okay, wonderful.
Okay, absolutely.
All right, so for the
Imagine
next
that.
set of questions,
Imagine
they
that.
will be
She need
30
that. She
seconds,
didn't do
right?
that research.
It will be 30 seconds, so we will have no sermons, okay? This is the 30-second question. So this one is about public safety. It's about crime and mental 2023, the state's gun homicide rate was about 18.6 per 100,000 people, well above the USA average. However, despite 2025 data indicating a decrease in Columbus crime, 2026 data has Columbus listed as one of the 10 most dangerous cities in the state. Since there is a direct link between poverty, unemployment, lack of job for those impacted by criminal records, gun violence, gang activity, and low-wage jobs as it relates to the rise in crime, the question is, and we're going to start with the mayoral candidates, and remember, this is a lightning round, okay? All right, wonderful. What are your plans to address and reduce crime in the city, and what funding priorities will you push? So you need to know your platform for 30 seconds.
Public safety is about prevention as well as much as protection. And so I'm talking strong neighborhoods, I'm talking stable housing, I'm talking dealing with poverty, I'm talking dealing with youth and gang violence. We have got to address those things if we are going to have great public safety. And so it's about prevention as well as protection, and we've got to do it all.
So 30 seconds. Prevention first, right? So my whole campaign runs off of my motto, for our kids, for our future, for Columbus, right? Prevention really starts with our kids, with our youth, when they're young, with mentorship programs, opportunities, trades, sports, rec centers. That's what we need to start investing in, instead of investing in crime when it's too late. Data-driven policy and transparency, in-depth analysis of the actual numbers, because a lot.
You can finish out your sentence and then stop.
All right, so if you take a look at the data that CPD provides, right, so your aggravated assaults, for example, they're all lumped together. Well, if somebody stabs somebody else with a spoon, that can be considered a weapon if it does damage and can be an aggravated assault. I think some of that data needs to be broken down a little bit better so we can actually see the gun violence and so on and so forth.
Thank you.
So one thing is that violence isn't random, and so it's concentrated on a small number of individuals and groups here. And so our strategy would focus where it matters most, and we would identify the people driving the violence using real data that I can actually account for them myself, not talking about someone. Engage them directly to make it clear that violence must stop and offer real support, like the job training, so that addresses poverty, mental health services, and housing assistance. So actually putting in the services in those desolate areas, in those areas that are highly populated with crime. And this is actually an evidence-based program that's already doing great work for them.
Thank you. So for those running for city council, because intervention, restoration, and peer mentorship for other formerly incarcerated who have shown to be successful in their community has proven to be an effective way to reduce violence and to support victims, would you support or oppose prioritizing funding in your district for community-based healing approaches to violence reduction that focus on intervention, prevention, mediation, and healing harm? Why or why not?
Which I never heard of.
Pretty much, I do support prevention programs. I would definitely support prevention programs as a poet, and I'm sorry, it was a long question, so.
Yes. It's ultimately, would you support prevention, intervention, mediation, and healing harm?
Programs that's not locking up people.
I definitely support those type programs. Number one, because we need college jails, number one, already overcrowded. So we have this problem where we lock people up and then they turn around, sit on papers or sit on court docket papers until it's time, years, maybe months before they even get a court date. It's not. The short answer is yes, I will support those programs.
And
And just so y'all know, if y'all are interrupted, I am causing the routine as well, so y'all have y'all full time. Thank you. I'm gonna be quick. So yes, absolutely. But I think it's threefold. One, it's youth initiative. So stuff in the community before people are even thinking about doing violence or getting engaged. How do we get these kids activated with something besides finding ownership in a gang? Two, if you are in a gang, can we get interceptors? I've heard of this working in Columbus and elsewhere. Three, folks who are in the jail, let's give them some job training when they're in there. Right now, there's a welding program, and there's a laundry list of people waiting to be on that welding program. So that way, when they get out, they have an actual skill that they can get a job with, and there's not an issue with recidivism as often.
So yes, I am absolutely for holistic health of a community and addressing those needs. I think access, opportunity, and consistency is important, especially when we're talking about our youth, but also when we're talking about those who are entering into society. And yes, while there are those programs that are available while they are inside, we have to make sure that they are able to utilize those and get jobs that will adequately pay them so they can sustain themselves and their family when they re-enter into society. So I think that's important.
So the short answer is yes, but let me tell you why. The main job of your city council is to approve a budget and manage that budget throughout the year. So that's the main thing. So the answer to the question is yes, I would be in support. It is time that our city reinvest and increase our investment in ourselves. And if you ever manage a budget for at home or work, if you don't budget for it, it doesn't happen. So there are many organizations that in our city that are already doing the things that we're talking about. Housing, vocational, everything. So if you increase the investment, it gets done. Thanks.
The answer is yes, we're a village. It takes a village, and we are the village. Growing up here, we didn't have a high crime rate because we made sure that there were plenty of things for our children to do. Parks and Recs was involved, but it wasn't just children, it's adults. Mental health is an issue that has to be addressed. So the holistic healing programs are very important for those who are coming out and trying to rejoin our communities. We want to welcome them, we want to equip them, we want to wrap around them. So there are a lot of wraparound services. We got to feed them, we got to transport them, we got to help heal them, we got to meet people where they are. And I think that if we invest in our community, they'll show up for us. Thank you.
Has she done any of that?
Thank you, Lee. Short answer is absolutely yes. An ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure every time. There are so many worthwhile programs that exist. What we need to use the power of City Council to do is to coordinate among these magnificent programs that exist. We have a fantastic community reinvestment program. He is willing to work with Tabitha and other folks that I can talk about in the community to pull together these programs to make them shine. I have a holistic public safety, which, if you want to reduce crime, let's make gun-free zones if we can around parks and schools. Let's increase economic opportunities. Let's have enterprise funds, and I could go on, but that's it.
I loved hearing from Rocky, I agree. And I think strong neighborhoods, yes, I would help realign some of our funds, but you have to have a different approach to our budget. And we are receiving hundreds of millions of dollars every year, more money than we got in 2018. Strong neighborhoods come from affordability. When you raise property taxes to the hill 52% over the last 4 years, rents go up, and that affects inmates who are trying to come out and transition, and this is how we help them. We killed the midnight basketball program that was so effective. There was reasons why it died, but we did, it was a good program. I love the art of work, and we got to get people back to work. Thank you.
Okay, and I don't know if y'all can hear me now. I don't really leave the microphone. But we're going to, some of the things that we actually had at the beginning, we are going to cut through, and that's why we're going to speed round, so we won't have time to go through all of them. But I can promise you, all these questions will be in those candidate questionnaires. So, but I do appreciate that. But I did want to just do a clarification. I know Rebecca spoke on it. Which I am wearing this shirt, and it's going to be an issue. I've been bringing to Columbus for about 7 years now. They've been giving me a hard time using incarcerated labor. The problem is they are doing that in the jail, Rebecca. But you know what happens? They work in there for 5 years, 10 years, whether it's doing trash, doing hair, doing welding, they're working on the mechanic on the cars, and you know what happens when they get out? They tell them they can't hire them.
Amen. 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 Schooler.
Talking about the city saving $18 million. And John said itself, prevention, whatever you say about prevention and the cure. You say you save $18 million by using incarcerated labor, that means nothing. If it's high crime, you're paying more for that with the crime. So if you give folks jobs that you're using them for free and get rid of, you can't say it ain't done. Out of all 159 counties in the state of Georgia, Columbus turns out the most slaves. Over 600 people are being used as slaves, taking jobs away from folks in the community that people in the community could have. And just because somebody has a felony record, like me, 2 degrees, working on a doctorate, 3 businesses, I'm doing the shit. You don't want to give us opportunities. I'm sorry. You don't want to give us opportunities because we have felony records. But in fact, we are the hardest working people because we haven't been able to have a job. We're going to show up early. We're going to stay late. We ain't going to leave you the first time somebody else offers us 50 cents more. So the reason Columbus has a crime problem is because the chamber and folks are not taking the time. You're trying to recruit Kumo. Kumo don't even hire people with records. Stop recruiting companies here that will not hire people. You need to get these folks jobs. You cannot expect city laws to be followed if you are not giving people opportunity to take care of themselves. They're going to say
Amen. 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 And see, Becca don't know that. Becca don't know that.
So there's actually a like an 18-wheeler that comes next to the jail, and they get job training to become welders and other, like I think they're trying to expand this to carpentry. I think it's 10 incarcerated folks right now, which is obviously there's way more that want to do it, but this is actually training while they are incarcerated so that when they get out, they have the ability to start their own business if they can't get hired. Okay. Not that your point is not very, very, very.
Okay, because I'm coming for it. I right now am working to change the state law that currently legalizes slavery. If a person is convicted of a crime, it has to be approved. It's not a regular bill. The state constitution has been changed, and I'm coming forward to change.
All right.
Because that incentivizes people to lock folks up.
All right. All right. All right.
Who goes into a grocery store and steals a pack of chicken and peppers has no business, like in Muskogee County, 2018, got sentenced right there in Muskogee County Court to 3 years in prison because she stole a pack of chicken and peppers when you should have been giving that woman some peppers and some chicken.
Amen. 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 Amen.
One quick question, all it needs is a yes or no. After they say yes,
yes or no.
If you elected city council, if you elected mayor, I need to know that when I come to you in 6 months, not only about making people with criminal records a protected class, so that we can stop getting discriminated in housing. We got children we got to take care of too. We need housing like everybody else. I need to know not only just protected class, because you know there are a protected class. You can't discriminate against age, gender, sex. We want to make people who are formerly incarcerated a protected class, and we need to stop all of this incarcerated labor being stopped. And yeah, you did good about stopping the trash people, but you said, you know what, to me and men, we don't want to pay them, so we'll just get us a truck with some arms to do it instead of paying them folks. So my question to you all, I need is a yes and a yes for the 2 questions. Will you support a protected class for people who are meaning landlords, employees cannot be, if they trying to apply for a job in the back and they rob saddlebags? That's understandable. But I'm talking about no reason at all for the fact that they got a felony. Will you support Columbus being a city? Atlanta's already done. In Atlanta, you got a family record, you are a protected class in the city of Atlanta.
All right.
So it needs to be statewide. I'm tired of Columbus being behind. This is my home and I live up there now, but I'm here every week. So, yes and yes. Will you support a protected class? And will you work on ending incarcerated labor?
Is that the answer?
Yes or no?
Yes, no, yes, yes.
Well,
Yes,
let
yes.
me just come in first. I want to thank Becca for bringing up the welding program that's offered by Columbus Technical College, and I sit on that board. Excellent program, and we are graduating people on a regular basis who are at the Muskogee County Prison who are certified welders, and I think that's an excellent program. But let me just speak to the city of Columbus. The one thing that we did some years back, we banned the box on your application. And what that means, if you don't know, banning the box means we cannot ask that. We do not ask that question when you apply for a job. We do not ask if you have a felony. And so when your application goes through the normal process, and we get to that point that we want to offer you an opportunity, then you have the opportunity to say, I do want you to know that I have a felony. Well, making that known is not going to keep you from getting a job. We have what we call a felony hire committee. I've been sitting on the felony hire committee for more than 7 years, and we have never turned down a department head bringing a convicted felon forward to get a job with the city of Columbus. And so if you don't know about that, I do want you to know that that's what we've done.
Okay.
So that's
I
a
know
yes
about
and
it.
yes.
Yes and a yes.
That's a yes.
And what we're gonna do is too, I wanna make sure, because I wanna make sure everybody's fair, so I didn't, and that was our apology for letting out there, because I don't want nobody to think I'm sure favoritism. So, but that's my apologies on my half, but I get heated about this, y'all. So I just need a yes and a yes. A yes and a yes. Protected class. Ending incarcerated labor. And yes, we do have banned the box across the state of Georgia, but that's only for state jobs. A lot of us get out of prison, we ain't trying to apply to the state. We just want to get down here at KFC. We just want to get down here in the house store. Yes.
Oh, okay.
So I just want to make that very clear. Also, that we refrain from using the term prisoner, inmate, convict. We are people first. And I think that's why a lot of the laws are made the way they are, because they're seeing us as criminals. They're seeing, I am Waleisah, an entrepreneur. I am Waleisah, a leader. So when you start seeing people as people, it allows folks to be able to feel like they're in community. You know what? I may throw a little trash out my window sometimes, but I don't do it in my own community. That's how people feel, I'm telling you. I've heard several people say they'll kick in windows to break into somebody's house, but they'll do it in their own community. So you want folks to love where they live at.
Oh, Jesus.
Yes, yes. That's all right, just call out. Protected class and supporting ended incarcerated labor. Yes, and yes. All right, Steve?
You said you want me to say yes and yes, and I can
Yes.
hear both?
No, I mean, if it's no, we need to know. If it's no, we need to know.
Okay, so yes and yes. However, I do think that there should be a limitation on everything in life. I think there may be certain super limits. You know, if somebody's like, they got 50 felonies and they're just habitual super repeat offenders, that's a little risky. However, one of the things that I am looking at also is yes and yes.
That's a yes and no. That's a yes and no.
Programs for incarcerated individuals coming out, and as well as starting a program to put a bond behind people to get jobs.
Thank you. Yes and yes. If it's no, be honest. Say no.
But you all have 30 seconds. If it is a no, 30 seconds to explain a no.
I just think from personal experience, my answer is yes and yes.
Thank you.
I would say yes, and I also, previously to coming to this, I polled some of the local business owners in downtown Columbus, and many of them actually say they are the best workers because they want a job, they want to remain, like, have pride in what they do, they want to be able to have a house, like, make their house payment. I mean, my fiance is a small business owner, has 200 employees, and he said they are some of the best workers he's ever had. So I am absolutely open to it, and I would love to learn more from you and your group.
We're going to let you know. Would you support people with criminal records, particularly felonies, being a protected class? Like, you can't discriminate them in housing jobs simply because of their age, discriminate, but because they have a felony? And would you be open to ending Columbus a slavery-free city using incarcerated labor, which contributes to unemployment for most Americans?
My answer is absolutely yes and yes.
Thank you. Yes. Amen.
Then you have to stand up, yes and yes.
There you go.
Yes and yes.
Yes and yes? My answer wasn't an easy yes and yes. And I would say the way you worded last time, I hire criminal labor, and I pay good wages, and they've been here a long time. They're friends and they're family. And so I protected classes. That's how I look at it. I'd like to have further discussion about it. Free slave labor, I don't believe in it. Everybody should be paid. Everybody should be paid.
Thank y'all, and just so you do know, incarcerated people are still obligated to pay student loan, federal taxes, child support. So they need, and if they had a victim where they got to pay restitution, how do victim get their restitution? Okay. Okay.
Okay, so we're gonna go to job and unemployment. We're gonna go straight to the
I'm
question.
skipping my blight.
And again, these questions will be shared with you. All of these will be shared with you. And if there's any other questions, we will collect your questions and answer them. We are short of time. So, I want to also name that protected classes does not enable somebody to get any special privileges. No one is trying to get a jump to the top of the line. When we passed the protected class ordinance in the city of Atlanta and also in 7 different locations throughout the country, and currently we have 16 campaigns throughout 16 states in the country right now, because people have an immutable characteristic. You can't ever get rid of your criminal conviction. It does not matter. It can be blocked, it can be covered, it can be whatever, but people will get to it. Because why? Because there's a background check and they never erase them. So all we want is access to humanity. That's it. Say it with me. Access to humanity. That's it. Access to humanity. That is it. That is the reason why we want to be a protected class. So as mayor, what priorities do you have, if any, to support higher wages, reduce unemployment, recruit higher paid employers, including those who will hire people who have convictions? And you have 30 seconds. This is the speed round.
It's a serious 30 seconds.
Yeah, we have 30 seconds. You can start, and you can pass it to him, and we'll switch over. You can start now.
I think that Columbus has some of the best talent right here, and that's incarcerated people coming out, and as well as those who are not incarcerated. Some of our best talent is right here, as well as some of our best businesses, our small businesses. We don't do enough cross-collaboration. If we can just talk to one another and share what we have and creatively do that, then that's our jobs. A lot of small businesses have left because they haven't been able to pay their own lease because of taxes. So when taxes are up, we basically sell everyone. So the talent is here, the city's already here.
Thank you. Next.
That's a lot for 30 seconds. So bring medium and large companies here, because currently small businesses eat up a lot of the taxes. That's going to create some new jobs. As I was saying earlier, I would also back incarcerated personnel getting out with a bond if they qualify for the program for employment, where we would say, hey, we're going to back this individual with $5,000 if you hire them, as well as 10% of the camera money, because no, I do not support taking the cameras all the way out. 10% of that money going to the jails for programs as well.
Thank you.
I plan to, as mayor, increase our millage to choose Columbus and then have greater expectations from them. But we're going to support small business with small business grants, and that includes nonprofits, the arts, and all small businesses. But we've got to put more money in if we expect to get more out. And so we have got to work with small businesses to infuse them with small grants to keep them floating. Small business is big business, and that's what makes Columbus go.
Thank you. All right, 30 seconds. Any questions?
Yes, I feel like these things can tap into what we have in our communities already. Many people do have talents, whether they're formally incarcerated or high over, what do we call them, formally incarcerated, just as impacted or not. Tap into those individuals. Hire them in our small businesses, but from a state, city level, or a city level, provide those resources to these small businesses so they can hire these ones that are impacted by their past.
Thank you.
Can you repeat the question?
Absolutely. What priorities do you have, if any, to support higher wages, reduce unemployment and recruit higher paying employers, including those who hire justice impacted people.
Yeah, so 3 things when I think about economic development, specifically in District 7. 1, choose Columbus. Isaiah mentioned this, but really thinking we now have an organization fully invested in economic development. I think in District 7 specifically, there are lots of parcels, if you think about the Jim Blanchard Industrial Park, and manufacturing is our key. 2, we have Startup Columbus, but it's only located in downtown Columbus. I've spent so much time in South Columbus, I've met some of the most innovative entrepreneurs, but I do not have the resources. I want satellite startups in different parts of the city besides downtown. And 3, Fort Benning just got named PAE, which is basically they are going to be the decision makers for lots of equipment, which means manufacturers and businesses are going to be moving to Columbus, and we have an opportunity to have some.
Thank you.
Sorry.
So I think some of the important things to do would be to build up our workforce, which is providing more opportunity and access. Another thing is reducing the outsourced labor and hire locally. Columbus does a lot of outsourcing for construction jobs and things of that nature. We have people right here who can do that work. And also small business support, which again providing access and resources so people can grow those businesses and to be able to hire locally more.
Thank you.
So thank you for the question. One thing that I have been very invested in since I have lived here in Columbus is investment in special skills, special training. I serve on as a member of the Columbus Crime Prevention Committee that funds some of the programs that we have discussed tonight. So for increased wages, one thing I would be a component and strong champion of is talent retention. For here in Columbus, Georgia, we have a lot of young people that leave the city once they graduate from college. I would like to be a champion for programs that increase our end-to-end training from training to workforce. Thank you.
Thank you.
Repeat the question for me one more time, please.
Okay, in a nutshell, do you have a plan to hire wage or jobs, to recruit higher paying employers, and to include those folks that hire justice impacted people?
I think that if we're smart, we'll include everybody in trying to raise wages, because in a city that has one of the poorest zip codes in it, we've got to be intentional about how we manage it. We got to make better paying jobs. We got to have more affordable housing. We got to make sure we include everybody, no matter what your past is. And we need to make sure that we're wrapping around and meeting the people where they are. The key to economic development is bringing some higher paying jobs, but also making sure people can have a place to live. So yes, I'm in favor of that, but also bringing everybody in and making sure, that they have everything that they need, no matter what their background is.
I am ready, willing, and able to travel the globe. I speak several languages. I have the international connections to bring those medium and large businesses that provide thousands of jobs, not just a few, real economic development. We get a lot of our incentives to the financial folks that have left. We need to bring back good old manufacturing here. And on the other end, small businesses. I'm working with a group in South Columbus. We have great entrepreneurs, just like Becca said. I'd like to see enterprise funds. I'd be glad to work with Sanford Bishop to bring those enterprise funds. In the city, we do not have a lot of budget. We have to go outside. We have to get grants. We have to get funds from all different levels in order to help those entrepreneurs get started, get them over the hump, and that way we'll have a shared abundance.
I might agree with the former city manager on the millage for the economic development side, but overall I would lower your millage because affordable living means a lot of people getting out, and we've lost touch of that. I also want to take a little bit of time to say we haven't even talked about the new jail that's coming. We're 26 years behind a jail. And when we build this jail that they want, it's over $500 million. By the time we pay the principal and interest, that's $900 million. That's your money because it's in the rent. It's in the rent. And so you gotta realign the budget in order to do the things that all these people said that are very good. Thank you.
And while we talk about that, my suggestion was to take some of the money away from the CCG salaries. Y'all see them salaries? $192,000 for the city attorney. What is Clifton making? The city manager make over $213,000. 50 of the people that work down there make over $100,000. So as far as I'm concerned, take $10 from each one of them folks.
Where were pearls? Where were pearls? Clutching, yes, yes.
Real quick. If y'all take a look at this picture right here,
Woo.
real quick.
Amen. Amen.
This is right next to somebody's house.
Amen.
This right here, I guess the answer to fixing the potholes in South Columbus is just to cover it up. And then we got right here, this house, this boat is sitting out here.
Amen.
A Columbus citizen wrote us. Said that they have been calling District 3 City Council for 2 years.
Hello. Hello.
Tell them about this ship, this boat that just sat there. People put a private property sign by it, it's been sitting there, they have asked for it to be moved, and have not been moved. Okay, that same person said that she has a 10-year-old child that constantly walks past the house next door that has been empty for almost 15 years. Somebody who's unsheltered is living there on the porch, uses the bathroom on the porch, exposes himself on the porch, while these children are walking across. They have called city council for 3 years, sheriff, all day, nobody there. And this right here makes no sense. But look what she said.
District 3.
Imagine your child having to pass this every day with an adult.
Jesus on the main line.
This would not have been allowed.
Mr. Huff.
Let's go to the next one. This 1721 Shelter Drive. You know where that at? She said the house been empty for 20 years. They never snakes slitting across the street on a regular basis. There are rats on the property as well. This is from a Columbus citizen. All of this is right here, South London Road. That's over there by the Hampton Inn Hotel. You want people to come and stay? Ain't nobody coming to stay at the hotel over there while a lot of this.
Listen, they about to make them a new road.
Out there on South London Road. Why is it even still sitting there? Clothes, empty bottles, urine. This is what I want to address to y'all. Now, I know y'all see it, and you don't stay in 7, you need to go to 7.
Yeah, District 7 ain't here tonight.
Why is there the money that's being sent to North Columbus and not being put in South?
All right.
But that ain't what North Columbus is like.
Well, we are at time. And that is more of a rhetorical question that we would love for you all to answer eternally. We thank you all for coming out today. I know everyone did not get all of their questions answered, but this is just the beginning and not the end. And again, tomorrow night we will be online. But I know that there were 2 people that had a question. Did you want to ask the question now?
If you have a question that you did right now, unfortunately, let me tell you, I had a good presentation. We were talking about who's going to pay for that $500 million jail.
Can you let a young
talked
person
about
ask
salaries. You talked about, and y'all knew they changed the charter. The Senate decided today on changing Columbus, Georgia's charter about how mayors and city council people are voted in, not no more back then.
Oh. So, all right. Woo. All right.
Can we select the question, please?
Yeah, please come at the question. Right there.
We have a young person. Do you want to come and ask your question, my love?
All of these.
She's got a book of questions. I saw that.
I just want one. I just want one. We're going to let the young person ask the one question. Come on.
Come on, sweet pea. Come on, sweet pea. You don't intimidate the child to ask a question.
This first question is going to go to Mr. Steve Kelly. As for kids that will want to walk into your same shoes and be in the same predicament that you were in, how would you help them follow those steps, mentally and physically?
Well, honey, bless the Lord.
You know, that's a great question, and I have a feeling I know what you're referring to because you weren't very specific with it. I think a lot of it has to do with acknowledging that you need help. I think that's what a lot of it has to do with, is acknowledging and actually being open to getting help and change. What? So I did a lot of years in the Army. I did a lot of deployments and everything else, and I had childhood trauma, all kinds of stuff I didn't even know about. But I've come a very long way over the years from where I started, because there's a reason I joined the Army, and we started talking about it the other day. But keep a good group of people around you and be willing to change and be open to suggestions.
Why is he talking to them?
So for the rest of the questions, we have collected them. I'm not sure how the library works. I do not like to be put out of places. So, with that said, we will be having another event tomorrow via Zoom. So those questions that have been asked, we will be trying to answer them tomorrow online.
And so the candidate questionnaire that every candidate will receive they'll have about 10 to 14 days to complete the thing.
What she said.
Yeah.
Okay, so thank you all for coming out. This is just the beginning. This is not the end, unfortunately. We have to close. But thank you all for coming, and thank you for all of our elected officials that are in the space, and for all of our hopefuls. Thank you.